let's be real. In any major engineering project, things are going to go wrong. It's just a fact of life. So today, we're going to demystify the critical process for fixing them for good, the corrective action request, or what everyone in the field just calls a CAR. I want you to imagine you're standing on a massive construction site. Okay? You're looking up, and there's this incredibly complex web of HVAC ducts, firefighting pipes, and electrical trays all competing for the same space. The blueprints, they look perfect on paper. But out here, in the real world, well, things rarely go exactly to plan. So what actually happens when what gets built just doesn't match the design? You know, on projects of this scale, mistakes aren't just possible, they are absolutely inevitable. The goal isn't to be perfect from day one. That's just not realistic. The real goal is to have a super robust process to catch, analyze, and fix issues before they snowball into major project-killing problems. And that right there is where the real work of quality management truly begins. To handle all those inevitable bumps in the road, professionals rely on a formal tool, and that tool is the corrective action request. Now, a CAR isn't just about slapping a patch on a mistake and calling it a day. No, it's a formal process, and it's a key part of any serious quality management system, like ISO 9001. The two key goals here, and you got to remember these, are to find the root cause and, most importantly, to prevent it from happening again. It's all about solving the problem permanently. To really get what a CAR is, you have to understand its partner, the Non-Conformance Report, or NCR. Think of it like this. An inspector is walking the site, finds a pipe installed at the wrong height, and files an NCR. That NCR is just identifying the symptom. It's pointing out what is wrong. The CAR, on the other hand, is the deep dive. It's the full diagnosis. It's the investigation that figures out why that pipe was installed incorrectly in the first place, and then lays out a detailed cure to make sure it never, ever happens again. So why all this fuss? Why is this process so absolutely critical? Well, because failing to manage these issues properly strikes right at the heart of project management. It affects the three core things that literally determine if a project succeeds or fails. The stakes are incredibly high. A single problem that's ignored can completely compromise the project's scope, maybe even lead to system failures down the line. It can trigger massive, and I mean massive, cost overruns from having to redo work. And of course, it can throw the entire schedule way off track. A solid CAR process, though, acts like a shield, protecting that sacred project management triangle of scope, cost, and time. Okay, so we know what a CAR is and why it's such a big deal. So now let's walk through the actual workflow. Let's see how this thing goes from just spotting a problem to finding a permanent solution. The process itself is really logical. It all starts with detection. Someone spots a problem and raises that NCR we talked about. Then comes the most important part, analysis. This is where the team plays detective, using tools like the 5 whys to dig deep and find the true root cause. From there, they move to planning out a solution. Then they implement it, and finally, and this is key, verification. That's where an inspector confirms the fix is done right and officially closes the loop. It's a clean, repeatable journey from problem to resolution. So when we talk about a fix, what does that actually look like in the real world? Well, the CAR process is really flexible, and it gives you a whole toolkit of options depending on the problem you're facing. A corrective action can be pretty straightforward, like reworking a bad installation or maybe just replacing a faulty part. But honestly, the most powerful actions, the real game changers, involve process improvement. And that's because sometimes the root problem isn't the physical part at all, but the drawing, the procedure, or even the training that the crew received. A truly great CAR addresses the entire system, not just that one little symptom. Theory is great, but let's see how this whole thing actually works in the real world. We're going to look at a classic example from a major project. So here's the situation. An inspector is doing their rounds on site and notices that the fire sprinkler pipes are installed too low. Now, this isn't just some minor cosmetic thing. It is a direct violation of the NFPA 13 Fire Safety Code. This is a big deal. So naturally, the alarm bells start ringing, and an NCR is immediately raised. Now, this is the brilliant part. Notice how the CAR process went way beyond just telling them to fix the pipes. The root cause analysis dug deeper and uncovered two real issues: a manpower shortage that was rushing the work, and the fact that the team was using an outdated drawing. So the solution wasn't just to reinstall the pipes. The prevention plan was to update all the drawings, add a brand new quality checkpoint just for this task, and conduct hands-on training for the crews. See? This is a perfect example of fixing the system, not just the symptom. And here's the satisfying ending to our story. The work was redone correctly, the consultant came back for that all-important verification step, and once everything was confirmed to meet the standard, the CAR was formally closed. The loop was complete. The project moved forward, but now it was armed with a stronger, smarter process than before. And that really is the ultimate takeaway here. A well-executed CAR is an incredibly powerful tool for continuous improvement. It turns an inevitable mistake into a golden opportunity to make the entire system smarter, safer, and way more efficient for the future. So this leaves us with a pretty critical question, one you should be asking on any project. Is your quality process just a bunch of paperwork to be filed away, or is it a living, breathing system that is actively driving permanent improvement? Because honestly, the answer to that question can make all the difference between success and failure. Thanks for joining this explainer.